Earlier this week, we talked about a comedian named David Lucas because during his set, the audience staged a mass walkout from his comedy show because they were deeply offended by some jokes that he was making about the death of George Floyd, the deity of BLM. And I didn't really have the context for what happened before the clip started, but in case any of you missed it, we should play that for you.
Yeah, here, in case you guys did not see this one. You might want to grab headphones for this one. You will need it for these. Here we go.
Oh man, all these fucking good ass white people at my show. And you wanted to show them the reason George Floyd got his neck nailed on. Don't ooh at that joke. It's just a joke, man. I would have never kneeled on George Floyd's neck. I would have shot that nigga. That was making us look.
You know about George Floyd before you get your ass up there talking. You really should know to be funny, don't you know that?
It's called comedy, nigga. How many more black fans I gotta hit that might leave? Oh, good shit, man. I got. Cause nigga, I was just warming up with that George Floyd shit. You ready to go? All right, baby. Okay. All right, you offended too, baby, with the braids? Right, you offended too?
I don't know if I call this a mass walkout. It's a walkout.
Y'all good? Or y'all about to...
Observes dysfunction.
Oh, I like Kyle Rittenhouse too.
Said I like. Yeah.
I like
He
Kyle
stuck by
Rittenhouse
that.
too. You too, bro? God damn, bro. Oh, but you fuck with me a little bit, right? See that? Yeah. Damn, one more guy. Damn, man. That nigga don't even want to go, but his ride leaving. He don't even want to go. He like, man, I don't like George Floyd either, man. That nigga had fentanyl. God damn, you gotta stoop low for a joke.
So after this, the entire digital mob on Twitter came after David Lucas, unfortunately, and he was getting a barrage of death threats and, you know, people just saying that he has no self-respect and he's disrespecting all black people and he should know better and he's tap dancing for whitey. Lots of racial epithets being thrown his way by other black people.
Yeah.
And that was the ironic part of it. I think it got too much for him. So he ended up being forced to post an apology of sorts. I found this because Chrissy Mayer reposted it. She said, this sets a dangerous precedent of giving the cancel mob a win and empowers them to move the goalpost further for what's acceptable speech, so much that eventually we won't be able to breathe. Like a knee to the throat that chokes the life out of comedy, their threats are just that, threats, like holding a gun to the stomach of a pregnant woman. Jokes, unlike fentanyl, never kill or injure anyone. Any hurt from a joke is a counterfeit feeling. No individual or group is exempt from jokes. Offend everyone as often as possible. Let's take a look at that video of him. He posted on Instagram.
Lucas, you know me from Kill Tony and other various roast shows. I'm an edgy, push the boundary comedian, and my job as a comedian is to bring humor in dire situations. With that being said, there's a clip that is circulating around social media, and since that clip has came out, I have spoken to a lot of George Floyd's family. I spoke to Cal Wayne, Trader Truth, Steven Jackson, and my intention was to never cause harm to his family or make them revisit a moment that happened a few years ago. I'm a father, so I get it. I understand how his kids feel. I've spoken to his whole family, and we've came, to an understanding as to how to move forward from this, and just want to apologize to his kids and everybody who was close to him.
Okay.
So his logic is that he did not apologize. He apologized to the kids and the family, which is he's saying is different.
Well,
which unfortunately will not be taken that way.
David Lucas can't
he posted
seem
it
to
publicly.
decide whether this was an apology for the joke or not, because he's going back and forth. He's in the replies saying this apology came because of the harassment of my mom, threatened me, not my mom. And then 5 minutes apart, he said, I never apologized for my joke at all. And then him saying that where did I say that I apologized? You know, I was apologizing to his family, but that's not an apology for the joke. Ultimately, it's kind of the same difference.
Yeah.
I don't understand why he even was in contact with George Floyd's family. How was this even brought to their attention? If we really cared about their feelings, would you refrain from sending them a comedy show that makes jokes about their dead family member, right? But they're activists, so they don't have any standard of ethics. They're just here to terrorize people. And someone in the replies suggested a corrupt BLM activist went after his mom and uncle. Next, pro-blacks and ADOS, whatever that is, got street gangs involved. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
He got marked. He probably won't be able to go home without looking over his shoulder.
Which is very different than threats on the internet. The two problems I see here is, one, his apology, which is directly to another person, was made publicly and not just to that person in private. So even if it wasn't meant as a public apology, it will be taken as a public apology because nobody will be able to make a distinction between the two. The second is that when you... Stop it! The second is that when you do something like this, you think that you're going to make one blanket statement and then everyone will simultaneously have that
That's
statement
right.
uploaded to their brain and they will then forgive you. Well,
Yep.
one, they won't forgive you anyways. Two, maybe a quarter of the people that were angry will see what you posted and the rest will remain angry at you. So it's really a problem that can't be solved.
That's right. South Park doesn't have this problem.
Yeah.
They just do it, and they do not care. And he should, if he thought it was his joke, and maybe he just, I don't know, probably should have never apologized. Just been like, I'm not going to apologize. I don't know.
He would have, again, like, I don't know if these threats to his family were implicit and real. If that's true, then he, that's a very easy way to scare somebody into an apology. But the problem
100%.
is, even if he does do that, even if that one person that threatened you sees it, that does not mean that the other however many thousand that didn't see it
That's right.
will act any differently.
The mob is never satisfied. They're never satisfied.
If you threaten somebody into an apology, then that cannot possibly be a sincere apology.
Exactly. Somebody says, like, if it's done under duress, what's the point?
I don't really think they care about the sincerity or authenticity of his apology.
Yeah.
They don't care if he feels actual remorse for what he did. They kind of just want to humiliate him. And he's not doing himself any favors because what kind of audience is he courting with the type of joke that he made in that clip?
Yeah.
One that isn't offended, one that doesn't demand an apology, and one that will look down on you for apologizing. Because now he's getting called spineless, and he's getting more pushback from both sides.
Joe Rogan, have him on.
Now no one respects this guy, and now he's kind of shot himself in the foot.
This is one of the
Not a good
reasons
move.
why the internet doesn't breed sincerity of any sort, right? Because the reaction that they're courting from you from both sides is just trying to get you to bend to whatever they believe is the right response to this, which is not an honest way to comport yourself. It's just not, right? Like, you're not expected to be who you are. What if he actually felt the need to apologize? I don't know if he did or not, but the audience that he's previously courted with his comedy won't have any respect for you for doing that.
Yes.
And the internet isn't a breeding ground for any level of sincerity anyways. It's
Right.
also very performative and pointless.
Well, everyone knows that an apology where someone says, I'm sorry you feel that way, is also not
Not
a
an
real
apology.
apology. So that's the apology that he was offering to the family members of George Floyd. I'm sorry that you felt a certain type of way about my joke, but also I'm not sorry for my joke.
Yeah.
Pick a side.
He needs to pick a side.
I would rather you just, stick with one consistent stance
I see in the
than
chat.
go back and forth.
Because he thought about that joke. So if you thought about it and then you went up and did your routine and you put that, right? You put that
that's
joke
more
in your
of a-
set, like, You should. That's your set.
It was impulsive.
It was
'cause
impulsive?
He was responding to like hecklers. So I mean, I
Okay.
assume that wasn't part of a set that he had planned.
I
but
thought that was part of a set. Just that him saying he liked Kyle Rittenhouse too wasn't a part. But I don't know.
he stuck by that one.
Yeah, yeah.
He said he still loves Kyle Rittenhouse. He's
Yeah.
dope. He said he's dope. He never killed a black person.
Which is true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, another comment said this is another moment where people choose virtue signaling over letting humor lighten the subject.
Oh.
If he had made jokes about a dead white dude, which I'm fairly certain he has or would gladly do, nobody would give a shit. I know that he might have felt bad because of how bad it blew up, but he should have left it alone. We just had the first Kill Tony comedian cave to media and apologize for jokes. We were doing so good holding our ground for comedy. Now we're headed right back to where we were getting canceled for everything they say because they can't stand behind it. It's pretty sad. And he's setting a bad precedent for other comedians for sure.
Yeah, and the thing is when you run comedy like that, if you run comedy on identity lines, you're going to naturally divide your audience anyways, which means you're eventually going to end up in a form of audience capture, which means you're going to have to make content that you feel your audience wants, and that's kind of antithetical to the creative process, right? For the most part. So where does a guy go when this is the road that he's chosen? He shouldn't have to make that distinction, but as long as both sides will be offended by something you say. I don't know what the right's version of being offended would be. I guess if he made fun of what?
I mean, like
Donald
for instance,
Trump?
I don't like jokes that are about abortion in a way that trivializes the issue or celebrates it, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think that I would behave like a toddler over it. I don't think I
Again-
would be walking out because that says something bad about me.
More than anything, you have to stay for the whole show because it's just embarrassing if you actually get so offended you leave the comedy.
I mean, are
This
you
is-
offended by
No,
anything?
and this is what comedians do. They go in front of a crowd. They go, "Look, there's the line we're all not supposed to cross, right?" And the crowd goes, "Yep." And then the comedian steps over the line. That's their job. That's what they're supposed to do.
If he felt he actually needed to make the apology, I think he would have done it in private. And not made a public statement of it, because he made it directly to them, but posted it for everyone to see.
Yeah.
which makes no sense. It's a complete reversal of what the whole point of making a social media post is. You don't make social media posts to one person unless you're calling them out or something, I guess.
but if
for the
there's
most
no
part-
proof that you
Yeah.
did the right thing, you're
Exactly.
gonna keep on getting shit on.
which again is a recipe for insincerity.
Yeah,
Which
and
is stupid.
It'll
it just
never
proves
end.
that all they want is for you
It'll
to
never
bend the
end.
knee. It's just like when people were coming up to people in the cafes during 2020 and raising their fist and then telling them to do the same. They don't actually give a crap if you believe in what they say. What they want is for you to bend the knee and do their bidding.
It's like Mao's little red
Yeah,
guard.
exactly.
You know, they go around.
This guy effed up, obviously. I do feel bad for him, though, for the level of vitriol he got. I don't know if I would have responded in the correct way either.
Yeah.
But overall, like, now that everything is said and done, he still does seem like a cool guy.
Yep.
I'm going to reach out to him and see if he wants to be on the show.
should.
I would love to have him.
You should.
And talk to him about it.
Yeah.
I look at all this stuff and I just think about where we are as far as the cultural divide around comedy, right? Like, I would love to find more examples going the other way. If you can find me of the comedian who's making fun of, we were just talking about, who was the one? Troy Bond, about making the jokes to the lady. And then he said, I'm the most
Pro-anti-Trump
comedian.
comic, yeah.
Like, I wonder how many, dudes wearing MAGA hats go to his shows and then walk out if he makes jokes about Trump. I bet you that doesn't happen
No.
very often. But also, we've got about 20 or 30 or more years of like, aw shucks white people where they're like, it's beat into them to just be okay with you making
That's a
fun of
good
them.
term.
But
All shucks, white people.
but you should be able to laugh at yourself. You know, if somebody makes a joke about white people not seasoning their food, I don't get blind with rage and walk out of a room.
Yeah.
I go, hayuk, and then I continue on about my day.
when I hear that, I'm like, you didn't write that joke. Social
Yes.
media wrote
But
that joke.
Yeah.
in general, I just, whatever you're going to say about aw shucks white people, it's like I've been hearing this on television shows that did it much better when it wasn't, back then they were able to mask it and make it seem. The best example I give is there's an episode of the show Arrow where Oliver Queen gets like arrested, and then like while he's being arrested to establish an alibi, he throws like a jail party in his mansion, and then his John Diggle, who's his black bodyguard, comes and goes, white people, like only a white person would have a jail-themed party. And he's right. That is probably true. So, aw shucks, white people. There's 30, 40 years of that.
But we
There's
can't.
left.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can't stay the course on this, like, where only white people
Yeah.
are able to laugh at themselves. That's
Yeah.
an untenable position to be in. And everyone else, I think, needs to acclimate themselves to being the butt of the joke sometimes.
I also think, speaking of your comment on abortion, I think like what the dads want, like, women have framed the narrative around abortion so that they can not feel bad about having abortions. So when guys abandon their wives and their kids, they should just call it dad abortion. That way they can't complain about it. They're like, I didn't abandon the kid. I had a dad abortion. I'm just not in the kid's life anymore.
I like that. You're getting creative.
Yes, we need to reframe the narrative.
I rarely see guys making the abortion jokes. It's usually women who are making the
The female
jokes.
comics are constantly
Yeah, they are.
joking about their genitalia and about abortions and about having casual sex. And
Yeah.
it's like, come up with new material.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.